Welcome to a brand new edition of It's in the Game podcast here on the Cruise Control Podcast Network in conjunction with Balls Life. I am Randy Cruz, joined by my guy, I am Denny Blanco, Coach Sam. You can find all of us on social media, IG and Twitter, at Randy J. Cruz, Rendy, the letter J, C-R-U-Z, at I am Denny Blanco, and at Coach_Swagner. Denny Blanco, my man, how you doing?
I am him. Good evening.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us.
Good evening. Coach Sam, how you doing?
I'm ready to talk basketball.
Likewise. I'm on cloud nine. You see what I'm rocking with today.
That is right. And we're going to get right to it. Obviously, you can find the podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Give us a download, rate, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're also on YouTube, so if you're a fan of video podcasts, go on to youtube.com/Cruise Control Podcast. So, Sam, for those who are now watching, you have this beautiful WNBA orange hoodie.
Right.
To kind of just signify that we are now at the end of the WNBA season. We are taping this on Sunday night. The Chicago Sky are the brand new WNBA champions. They defeated the Phoenix Mercury, a team that I picked. And me and you went back on conversations that, hey, don't sleep on the Chicago Sky because Candace Parker is coming to prove a lot of people wrong. And I think she did that tonight. They win the series 3-1 at home.
Correct.
Championship number 2 for her. Championship number 1 for Chicago Sky. So, Sam, I'll start with you. Obviously, what did you make of the WNBA Finals between Chicago and Phoenix Mercury?
Phenomenal basketball. I would say 2 of the games had a little bit of a lopsided score where Chicago kind of really was just clicking offensively, and that showed throughout the series. But you saw the roster that the Mercury came with. Taurasi in what may or may not be her final season. Skylar Diggins-Smith. Brittney Griner.
Mm-hmm.
But Chicago outlasted. Their roster was true to it. A 16-16 regular season record. At times it looked very rocky, but they clicked and finessed at the right time. Mm-hmm. And for all of us sports players, sports lovers know when you click at the right time, it's over for anybody in front of you.
Mm-hmm. I watched it. I was going for Phoenix. I just felt they had the momentum. They beat the defending champion Seattle Storm. Then they went to a crazy Game 5 against Las Vegas, which you are still upset about. I think
very upset.
I think you wanted Las Vegas, right?
Yes, Las Vegas was my pick this season because at the end of the bubble last year, I thought they came up just shy and that they were back and ready. And they played so well throughout the entire season. But we know how series go. We know how it goes. Matchups make a big deal. And I think that favored Chicago. The matchups they had, even 2 single elimination games they were in as a 6 seed, but they were the better matchup majority of the time. They have players people just couldn't guard.
And I mean, I like their roster. I feel like if you have the GOAT on the roster, Taurasi, you have a pretty good chance to win. I love Skylar Diggins, Brittney Griner. I felt obviously, you know, in all sports you got to deal with injuries, and I feel like the injury to Kia Nurse was the pivotal part of them not winning the title. And on the flip side, you see a Chicago team that has the hometown Candace Parker on the roster, and in her first year there is now once again world champion, again in 4 games. And I'm like, she has this LeBron-esque kind of game to her where she can score, she can rebound, she can steal, she can pass, she can block. She's doing everything. And I felt like this was a little more, as you told me offline, a little more personal because, you know, the Sparks were trying to kind of get her retire, or they thought she was washed up or whatever, but now she proves them wrong and wins a title in the first year in Chicago. Do you think now that's a bigger deal for her as opposed to just winning a second world title?
Yeah, I think it's 2-part. First, shout out to Allie Quigley too. She is also from Illinois. Yes, she is. The shooter. I think you have to be mindful of what it means when you're aging in your sport And the question marks are around you at the beginning of every season. Do you still have it? Do you still have it? And every aging athlete goes through that. And I think that's a small part of it, but it's also like I know I can still perform. I invest in my body. I'm still talented. And listen, last season she won Defensive Player of the Year. So I don't even know why so many questions came out the woodwork. But leaving LA, I think a lot of people didn't expect that. But why not? Your home state team, and so winning it does mean something. It was equivalent to LeBron going back to Cleveland and winning there.
Right. So Denny Blanco, I'm not sure if you've seen any of the games, but there's a player on Chicago, Courtney Vandersloot, right? Bro, she had like 3 different records in the playoffs. She had like 18 dimes in one game. She averaged 13 assists in the whole finals, and she was just coming up crazy big for the team. And I'm just like, as I'm watching, I'm learning new players and not just Candace Parker. So I think it really felt good to see them win. Obviously, they weren't my pick, and obviously when Taurasi goes down, it's like, damn, the GOAT just went down. Like that's like Jordan or Kobe losing in the finals. So Denny Blanco, did you get a chance to see any of the games? If so, what did you make of Chicago winning against Phoenix?
I didn't catch any of the games, unfortunately. I did watch the highlights, and what I really, besides what was her name just now?
Courtney Vandersloot. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Allie Quigley?
Yes. It's her wife. They're actually married. Yes.
Yeah.
It runs in family.
Yeah, she was going crazy too, though.
She was a problem. The highlights that I was watching, obviously, in the last game. But you know what? It was a great game. Obviously, it looked like Miss Candace Parker, obviously, #1 pick 2008. She's come a long way. So congratulations to her in Chicago Sky. What I really want to ask is this: the little 4 or 5 minutes I was watching the highlights and Brittney.
Griner.
Yeah. So I'm watching it, and it's interesting because she towers over most of the players. And I was wondering, based on your history of watching the WNBA, you can educate me on this. Do you feel that the referees have a gauge of how to ref Brittney? It seems as if they may treat her kind of like a Shaq, where it's very inconsistent. What say you?
I'm not gonna jump on that. There's been talent, and the game has evolved where players have been playing above the rim and been playing physical. I don't buy that. They don't have a difficult time reffing. I think they allow physicality the way it should. I think if you call games too tight, you steal something away from the flow. And you saw it today. Look, players did get bumped on their way. Players did get bumped on their way crashing for rebounds. But then players also got wide open shots that they just break. So I think if you try to over officiate that, you kill it. I'm going to give the referees credit on this one. Throughout the league, I think they do a good job because there's 6'6" players in the league, 6'5" players in the league. Just because she's 7'6", 6'8", I don't think that changes anything. I think they understand because she was on the college stage for 4 years too.
One last question on my end. Do you think we need 7 games throughout the playoffs, a 7-game series? Because I think this game obviously is a 5-game series. Do you think we need 7?
You have to expand the season to do that. I don't want to just jump and say that. That means more money. That means investing more in the league. It means players coming back from overseas earlier, but you have to pay more. They go outside the country because they make more money outside the country. So if they're going to pay more, then you can expand it. Let's talk about that first. But Nneka Ogwumike is working on that. She's been making big moves behind the scenes, and she's making stuff happen.
Good answer.
So for me, I know.
And Denny, hold on, Randy. Denny, watch women's basketball, please.
Watch women's basketball. Got it. I'm on the clock.
Were you a fan? Correct me if I'm wrong, but this was a new playoff format for them, right? Or they started
the elimination format and the Commissioner's Cup were both new.
So are you a fan of the one game elimination style, or do you feel like maybe a first round should be a best of 3, then the semis and the final should be the traditional best of 5?
I'm going to go against the grain. I like the elimination format. I think you have to as an entity, maintain some form of entertainment.
Right.
And although as a player or a team, so you could have the best record and then just have a bad game, and now you're out. So your fan base is disappointed. However, for the league, they need the excitement. You have to. That's what brings people to draw to watch it. Now it backfires though, because if the best players in the league are on the same team and then they get eliminated, now you're going through the playoffs without your quote unquote maybe most marketable. But I think this series proved that there's talent across the board. Mm-hmm. So the parity I think is greater. And I think no matter who plays one another, you're going to get a show. That's what this series just proved.
Right. So I know the final just ended a few hours ago, but if you had to put your GM or thinking cap on, saying for next year, 2022, because afterwards they were saying that without Kia Nurse, they could have won a chip if they all stay together. If Taurasi comes back, the Mercury should be back in the mix. I'm asking you, will they be back in the mix? Will Chicago have a good chance to repeat? Or is your team, Las Vegas, next year, is that their year? Is Breanna Stewart comes back for Seattle, does that make them back into contenders? So as of right now, who do we have in line to kind of be in that mix for next year?
As of right now, definitely Vegas, because they have the scoring and the defense. Mm-hmm. And they have a post presence, guard presence, wing scorers. I'm going to say Phoenix will still be in the mix. Seattle, for sure, if they come back healthy. I'm going to give, on the East Coast, outside of Chicago, I'm going to say New York had an opportunity too. I think they just were playoff green. So now you have more experience now on that roster, because New York is very talented. I think the most experienced player on the team playoff-wise might have been Natasha Howard. Mm-hmm. So I think now you have a better New York Liberty team too. So I don't want to count them out so fast. But that was a team that the elimination format kind of hurt. It did hurt them.
Yeah, I was going for them. I think they lost to Phoenix, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Was it?
I think it might have been. It might have been Phoenix. Because Phoenix had New York, I think. They had Seattle. Then they had Vegas, and then Chicago. So they had a crazy roll. Like I guess obviously just everything coming boiled down. Like probably tank out the gas out the tank. But I enjoyed it.
Tank, baby.
Tank out the gas. Wow, look at that. So Denny, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but during the playoffs, they anointed Taurasi as like the GOAT. Like they just said, "Fuck it, we're calling the GOAT now." Is it 25th?
So no, that was a fan voting.
A fan voting. Wow.
They did a fan voting that lasted a month long, and the fans voted Taurasi a GOAT.
The people said it.
Yes, she's the people's GOAT.
So the people
spoke. To be seen.
But listen, the people spoke, right? Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to say, you don't need corporations telling you what it is. When the people talk, man, that's what's most important.
No, so my thing is the fans voted, but the WNBA still said, "Hey, this is what the fans did. They're anointing you as the GOAT."
Correct.
And
Correct.
I told Sam, I saw it was a quick glimpse of Candace Parker on the sideline on the bench. She was doing her hair. She kind of made a face like like whatever, right? So I found it kind of weird, not weird, but like different that they would do that. Like just say fans vote, you're the GOAT, 25-year anniversary of when you got debuted, and recognizing other players who played in the 25 years. But would we or should we ever see that happen when it comes to the NBA? Like a fan, obviously, if they're going to fan vote, it's either going to be LeBron or Jordan. But now are we going to have Michael come at half court and be like, hey, the fans voted for you as the GOAT, or LeBron, you're the GOAT? Would they ever do that? Should they ever acknowledge that someone is the actual GOAT, like they did for Taurasi?
Yeah, it's the marketing ploy for that. I don't know if it hits the same in the NBA. However, if it were to happen, I don't think I would be bothered. I think it would keep it would keep this constant debate going. Like it would keep it going. Twitter would be on fire. Forget it.
Oh, of course.
If that ever happened,
As it could me and you go back and forth. Jordan, LeBron. There's so many great players, but it's like, I mean, there's never a really wrong answer. I guess it just depends on the era you grew up in. So people now could say LeBron. People my age bracket is going to say Jordan. So before we move on, Denny, it is the 25th anniversary of the WNBA season, and they named their top 25 most influential players. So I know this has been out for a little while now, but I want to see
a little over a month.
About a month. So I want to see if Sam agrees with all 25, who may be on the outside looking in, or does every person in here have a legit spot? So Simone Augustus, Sue Bird, Swin Cash, Tamika Catchings, Tina Charles, Cynthia Cooper, Elena Deladon, Sylvia Fowles, Yolanda Griffith, Brittney Griner, Becky Hammond, Lauren Jackson, Lisa Leslie, Angel McCautry, Maya Moore, Nneka Agumake, Candace Parker, Teacher Pinachero, Cappy Pondexter, Katie Smith, Brianna Stewart, Cheryl Swoops, Diana Taurasi, Tina Thompson, Lindsay Whalen, and those are the 25. And a few, obviously, are still current. So,
yes.
Sam, do you agree with all 25? If not, who's on the outside looking in?
So there was a rubric for this voting. It had to have at least one championship.
Oh, wow.
Which some players don't have. You had to have a major award. So Defensive Player of the Year, regular season MVP, or Finals MVP. And then other awards like maybe led the league in scoring, led the league in blocks, like that kind of thing. So I'm super happy with the list. I think the list is on point. Excuse me. There was 7 categories and you had to have 4 out of 7. That's what it was. Because Becky Hammond's on the list and she doesn't have a ring.
That's true.
Correct.
Yes. So it was 7 categories in the game, and the players who made the list had to have at least 4 out of 7. That's what the rubric was. But I'm not mad at all. I'm not mad at all.
All right. Well, I was waiting for somebody to get bumped out. And
like an all-star game. Like, you know how we argue about who should make the all-star game, who got snubbed. Nobody got snubbed.
It was 72 nominees. I gotta find out who the other. What's that? 7. I gotta find out who the other 37 people were. See, that I don't know. If I knew who the other 37 people were, I can give you a better one.
So, for example, if I said like Teaspoon, Shamika Holsklaw, like those players, do they have a legit gripe of not being in the 25?
Shamika Holsklaw is not in 25, huh?
See, look at you now. Look at you, Denny. Now you're thinking like, damn.
No, but it's more so that remember if they had to meet 4 of these categories and then they had to be voted on, that was another vote too. So it's I mean, I like who they got.
She's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Rushmore. She's like, no, I'm good. Move on.
Yeah. But I think, I mean, I think it's good. I will say that having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 active players on the list is crazy. That's actually like super legit. And there are some other players like on the rise. Like I love Asia Wilson. That's why I'm such a big Aces fan.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else. Angel McCautry is not on the list. They're still chasing their first ring. Like there's a couple of players who you could say like, they could have snuck on there, but then the rubric made it cut and dry. Yeah. They like just fell short. You make a good point with Teaspoon.
No, Angel is here, Sam.
Yes, she is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she is here. Yeah,
she's there. She's there. But Asia's not.
So my next question, since the fans voted Taurasi as the GOAT, if there's a Mount Rushmore, I assume she takes one spot automatically. Who are the other three for you?
I didn't say I voted for her. Ha I didn't say I voted
No,
for
I'm
her.
saying okay. Oh, so your Mount Rushmore may.
No, she's your girl, Randy.
Oh, so your Mount Rushmore may not even include Taurasi. Wow. Okay.
Not because I have an internal tennis game I'm playing with that last spot. I have 3 locks, and then that last spot is a little bit of a toss up. Because like with this list, there are some younger players still active that I think if they play the same amount of years are gonna be better. Like they're gonna have better numbers than she. So, but that's a what if. That's why it's a tennis match.
Okay. So let me guess. You got Lisa Leslie.
I do not.
All right. I got 0 now. Swoops.
Yes.
All right, I got 1.
Her numbers are ridiculous. Yeah.
Maya Moore. Maya Moore.
Yes, Maya Moore is on.
Ooh, 2 for 2 now. Sue Bird.
No, she is not on there.
I got 2. Are any of you remaining active?
Yes.
Is Brianna Stewart on that roster?
She's one part of the tennis match, of the tennis single. She's one part of it.
So Brianna.
Really?
Brianna, Swoops, and who else I missed? Oh, Maya Moore. All right.
Maya Moore. That was correct.
And if it's not Taurasi, who am I really missing? That was
Sue. You say no Sue Bird.
She said no Sue Bird, no Taurasi, no Brianna Stewart.
Candace Parker. Sure.
Candace Parker?
There you go, Denny. Candace Parker, yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. A big part of the WNBA. And I think playing for 2 franchises, winning a championship with 2 different franchises, being a Finals MVP, Rookie of the Year, regular season MVP more than once, 9-time All WNBA, 6-time All-Star, Defensive Player of the Year, and 3-time rebounding leader. She's got numbers.
She reminds me of Anthony Davis.
And impactful. Every season she's played, she's been impactful at her position and had to do different things. You know what I mean? Handle the ball, post, guard people. So CP3 is up there for me. And the tennis match right now, this one is tough. So it could be Taurasi for me. It could be Cynthia Cooper for me. Or it could be Stewie for me.
I think to say something for me, I'm like, Stewie a little too young versus Cynthia Cooper. Even looking at Diana Rossi, I'm looking at Cynthia Cooper. That's the Cynthia Cooper, Houston Comets, Cynthia Cooper, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Even just me seeing her do a Euro, when I didn't even know what a Euro step was before guys in the NBA were doing Euro steps. And her playing overseas, and she had success overseas as well. I'm shocked she's not a lock-in.
Well,
for you.
One thing about a retired person is that their numbers are not going to change. But like an active player, they can get better and they can blow their previous numbers out of the water. And now with science and veganism and investing in your body, you can play 10 years longer than what people used to be able to play. And then you can be on the team as a 7th person in a rotation or as a veteran backup and win a chip. So then you might end your career with the person ahead of you too.
True.
So just lock in Cynthia and then put in Brianna when she wins a couple of chips.
Well, she got 2 already, right?
Yeah, she has 2 already.
She got 2 already, bro. And she gonna get more. She's gonna get more. If she wasn't hurt this year, she might be champ again.
All right. Well, look, Coach Sam, it just may be a tennis match that you just can't win in your brain, man. You just
And then again, I'm not anti-Taurasi, but I gotta be in this to not just go with what the majority is going. She's absolutely a phenomenal basketball player, and I mean, like, people aching her, like, seriously. But you have to say, if she played in an era where now the next generation got to learn from her, and they're a better version. So I'm not ashamed to say, I'm a real life coach and recruiter. I look at people like, she might be a better version of so and so. So I might go with this one because she's added something on top of what Taurasi can do. Hence the tennis match. Hence, or like Taurasi, a better version of Hooper. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with it? And Stewie might be a better version of Hooper.
Right. That makes a lot of sense, man.
It does. It does. Denny Blanco, I see you always repping that Brooklyn Net hat. So there's a perfect segue. So 2 weeks ago, we had a lock. LA Lakers, Brooklyn Nets, everybody there, everybody healthy. That's the matchup for the 2022 NBA Finals, right? As we go along 2 weeks later, the prospect of Kyrie Irving maybe not even playing is now into the fold. Not just only home games or road games. If he's not a full participant, he's not playing. I'm a big Kyrie fan. Selfishly, I want him to play. His choice, his privacy, I get it. Other people might feel a different way about it. But if there's no Kyrie in the equation, are you still saying today that the Brooklyn Nets are still the favorites to make the NBA Finals? Will they get to the Finals without a Kyrie? I really doubt Kyrie will go all year without playing, so there is some hope. But do you feel if he's out that they'll get there? And if they don't, who kind of takes their spot?
See, this is a perfect example of why I don't choose teams. Because as soon as I try to plant a flag, kaboom, explosion.
Because you wear the hat every show, so you just indicate you're a fan.
Understand, we had this conversation about the Nets, about how I don't pick teams until I finally, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie come together. I'm like, you know what? I think I want to ride with the Nets. I ride with the Nets. You know what? I'm a Nets fan. I put my flag down.
Right.
And look what happens. Okay, look. Kyrie, the privacy factor, I'm not even going to address what he chose to do. Respect due to him. What I do want to address is how the Nets have to move without him, because that is reality, right? So initially it was, he gets to play on the road. And I was like, that's not going to work. Either he's on, he's off. That's really how it's going to have to work. Either he's on or he's off. And now that he's off, we can take an actual look at the team that we have now and how we're going to be able to move forward. As constructed, to answer your question directly. As constructed, yes, I do believe the Nets, have enough to make it to the Eastern Conference Final. Now, I am very weary and scared.
But you didn't say NBA Finals. I didn't say Eastern Conference Finals. I said NBA Finals. See, now this is where you start backtracking.
The Nets, yes, the Nets have enough, I believe, based on their roster, to be in the NBA Finals. Yes,
even without Kyrie.
Yes, I do believe that even without Kyrie's production, I believe, and Coach Sam can attest to this as well, there are a lot of teams, you have to look at plus minuses. So the plus is, Kyrie's there, and he'll score, and he'll be able to take some pressure off of Kevin Durant and James Harden. But the question is, do they need, not that they need, but I mean, can they handle the pressure on their own? Does it look like Kevin Durant can handle the pressure on his own? I think so. James Harden healthy can handle the pressure on his own. Remains to be seen in the playoffs, but we're waiting. So when you're dealing with inconsistency and health, let's not push that aside as well. We're talking about health.
Right.
You have all that mixed together. I still believe they have enough talent with the roster constructed. Your LaMarcus Aldridge, your Millsaps, your Patty Mills, and then they're bringing these rookies along. I think they have enough of a mix. I'm just scared. I was going to address this one last thing in Pat. I'm just a little bit scared of Giannis. I see him doing walk-up threes now. That concerns me.
You see it, right? You see the fadeaway, the little 18-foot jump shot now. He looks more confident in taking that jump shot. And we always said, if Giannis was to ever develop a consistent jump shot,
it'd be over.
It's over. It's over.
I'm even with the trend, even with the trade of PJ Tucker. I just believe it's gonna be a problem if Giannis gets a jump shot. But that's where I'm at with the Nets, man.
Giannis with a jump shot is like KD with a jump shot, just like super maxed out.
That could play the post. That could actually play in the post too.
And the more confident he is in taking those 18-foot jump shots, or even the 3-point shot, it's like, whoa, like I can't stop you already. Now I have to guard you outside the perimeter, and you're gonna beat me off the dribble and kill me anyway.
He won't be KD. He won't be KD. I know who will be.
So what's the perfect comparison of Giannis now with a jump shot, with his stature, his size, and his strength?
Add defense to this player, add MVP defense to this player, and I see Tracy McGrady.
I could see that because he was a late jump shot mover. I can see that then.
I see Tracy McGrady all over him.
Yeah, he wasn't consistent. You're right, early in his career. That's why Calipari didn't draft him, because he wasn't a good shooter.
Yep. I see Tracy McGrady written all over him. I mean, not the Tracy from Orlando, the Tracy from Houston. And everybody knows that Tracy from Houston
was McNasty. Yeah.
Wait. I know this is a major segue. We pause on Giannis right now. You're gonna tell me the better T-Mac was with the Rockets over the Magic? That's not what you're telling me now, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Orlando's T-Mac was the better T-Mac.
No, I'm talking about him individually, the points, the style of play, all that.
Yeah, because he was averaging like 34 in Orlando.
Oh, okay, yeah.
When you do the 13 points in 33 seconds, that was Orlando?
In Houston.
That was
Houston.
See, in Orlando, I thought he was right on the cusp. I thought Houston, that's where the jump shot was money. Like he wasn't leaving him. Orlando, he was developing that. But when he got to Houston, oh no.
It was on fire, yeah. Orlando, he was expecting to play with Grant, but Grant got sick. Yeah. I like when we get off topic. I like that.
Yeah.
And Orlando T-Mac, I've said it before, people got mad at me, but Orlando T-Mac, there was even a short period of time, and I love Kobe, but there was one point where T-Mac was and Kobe right here.
I've heard Kobe have interviews, and Kobe was like, "Yo, Tracy McGrady was a lot to contend with because again, he's 6'8", he's long, he's athletic, he's nothing Kobe has ever seen. I mean, again, you mentioned Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is nowhere as near as athletic,
right, as
Tracy McGrady.
McGrady had a layup package and a dunk package. He could do it all, yeah.
So you take a Giannis who you put him next to the rim is like, what you want to do? What you want? The reverse, the one hand, the right hand, the Euro, either hand. Like what you want, right? You see the package, right? And then give me the.
So Giannis is a more brolic T-Mac, just still developing that jump shot. Okay.
with defense. Because Giannis, every possession, he's like, nah, you're not scoring. You're not even my man, and you're not scoring. You're not even my man, you're not scoring. Like, weak side help. You talk about weak side help. That's what they like on the board. Where every time a coach would be like, "Yo, weak side help," be like, "Yo, why you go weak side help?" It's like because you're on the weak side.
Right.
I'm like, okay, well, he's the definition of weak side help.
So I got 2 more points. One point we might just preview it for next week for retro. But Sam, Ben Simmons came back. He's back in the fold in Philly.
Did I say something?
And
I said something about him.
And I did say that, hey, I don't see Ben Simmons being traded at the time being. He has returned to Philly.
Angry.
We're going to see how that goes going forward for the season, but he's back in Philly. So does that change your mind on their championship quest going into the season, or do you feel like he's there, but he kind of still wants out?
Yeah, it may or may not work out. I think when Denny and I went back and forth on the comment section on Instagram when you brought this topic up and when you guys posted about it, I think trying to reconcile with him was the smartest thing Billy could do. But you don't know. Like, he could just be nice until the team he really wants to be on comes along and throws something Philly's way that they're willing to live with. The issue is between him and Embiid. I don't even think it's him and Doc. I think it's him and Embiid. And if you know, this is the part about professional sports. Like, if two guys don't get along in a locker room, one of them gotta go. That's how it goes in professional sports.
Right.
And it's gonna be Ben. I think the franchise wants Embiid because I think the city is more invested in him. The fan base is more invested in him than they are in Ben, which is sick. But it is what it is.
Oh, here goes Denny.
Damn.
Here he goes.
Damn. Randy Savage. I thought Ben was a savage, and I was loving him for it because he said, "I'm not coming and I'm not reporting. You need to trade me." But let me tell you, let Denny Blanco break down. Let me whisper for you. Ready? I think Sam, you touched it. You touched a little bit on it. Let me just add a little bit more because I think you was going the right path. What's going to happen is Rich Paul. Shout out to you, Rich. Hallelujah. You're playing as genius. You saw it. I mean, I would equate it to it's called the James Harden move. You can do it before the season, going into the season, or during the season. All three. You can do all three, mix it all, all one. But the concept is clearly, hey guys, Ben doesn't like play with Joel. It's not something where you have to think about. You see them on the court and you go ill. Okay? Let's not even argue this. Okay? We have document and data to show what Ben looks like with Joel on the floor and what he looks like when Joel off the floor. Okay? So now that Ben comes back, the statement is there, the memo has been sent out. The clock is ticking. Find me a place. I'm going to report. I'm going to get this $8.5 million that's in escrow. I need stats. I need that from my new DR house over here. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to take that. And I've always been quiet. I didn't talk. I'm not a talker. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to say what's supposed to be said. I just want to talk about basketball. I'm here. Let's just play this game and continue to say that. And the reporters will leave you alone. And in 2 months, you'll be somewhere else. Hallelujah.
And not with the Warriors, Danny.
No Warriors.
He ain't going there.
I can dream. Or the Philly Nets swap. And Philly was like, no, keep Kyrie. No, thank you.
I heard they turned down San Antonio, too. I don't know that the rumor or legit. They turned down something like Lonnie Walker and DeJounte Murray. They were like, nah, we're good.
You said Sacramento?
San Antonio.
Oh, they went. They said what? They put Javonte Murray in that package?
I think Philly said no.
nobody in San Antonio that Philly's gonna want. No,
I'm
not at
just
all. Yeah,
saying.
of course they would make that back.
And that's the
Yeah.
thing.
So
Like we say, Ben could be on a different team, but it's who? There's not many.
you never know with
He still got that
injuries. You
contract.
never know with COVID. You never know with injuries. You never know with COVID. You never know. Let me tell you something. If you haven't paying attention in the NFL, hey guys, these owners, man, they can literally wake up and do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
Heads up, owners can really wake up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, look like Denny froze now.
It is what it is.
There you go.
There you go.
Oh, I came back.
There you go.
Okay, yeah. No one's gonna be able to go against that. The owners can change their mind and go a different direction. So don't be surprised if Ben's not traded. If Ben's not traded by Easter, before Easter.
Or a trade deadline. Right, trade deadline.
Absolutely. They're not gonna. They're not gonna. Again, she mentioned Joel Embiid. He is their guy. He is their star. They're not gonna annoy him. They're gonna try and get him out there as soon as possible. And Joel, unfortunately, is not a guy who's going to hide his feelings.
Nah,
Right.
he's a big talker.
They want to minimize as much as he can talk about as possible. Don't give him any fodder or subjects to talk about. If it's not basketball, please, let's keep him focused on that.
Mhm.
That's my point. I mean, they need to get him out of there yesterday.
Yeah.
And then who plays the open floor style where Simmons would fit?
Well, you can send them to Chicago. They're up and running. You can send them to New Orleans. They ain't got nobody
Yeah.
that really. You can send them to teams where they're missing a piece.
Right.
They need to be up tempo. So there are a couple of teams out there. Again, there are teams that you can go to now. The package is gonna be tasty. You know, the package ain't tasty. Philly's not making the move.
No, I think Ben stays. I really do. Until they get a real glorified deal, I think he stays. They try to do their best to work it out. I just don't see a potential scenario right now that says, you know what, that's probably the best deal they got, and they're getting a perennial all-star, a young guy coming back. If it ain't Dame, if it ain't Kyrie, or anything like that, they're not doing that. And they'll try everything to salvage that bond and relationship between him and Joel. But
Randy Savage. People underestimate the power of the James Harden move with the trades.
Mm-hmm.
People are you talk like it's like, oh yeah, they're gonna wait until a trade happens and it's a better package. No, man.
Yeah.
When these owners wake up and they hear rumbling, they hear their superstar still angry, it could, a trigger could be pulled
At any moment.
At any moment, bro. So don't sit back. It's not gonna be gone.
Mm-hmm.
It's ticking, bro. Dame Lillard, bro. The other Dame Lillard.
Wrong profession, man. Wrong profession. Dame Dash.
Dame Lillard. The other Dame. Dame Lillard. Not Dame Dash. Dame Lillard.
My last point before I let you both of you go, and we'll tackle this on Retro Room. So they are celebrating the 75th anniversary of the NBA this year. So we know when they did it in for year 50, they picked the top 50 players back in 1997. So they're gonna do the top 75 players. So I'm assuming they're gonna add on just 25 more players. I don't think they'll touch the 50 who already have a spot, even though we can debate that till whenever.
Right.
Not trying to give every name, but like, who are some people you think that will be added on as the next 25 to make it the top 75 players in NBA history?
Say if you want to go, you want to drop one, and I'll drop one. Yeah, you drop one.
Yeah, because you gotta say that list was out in 1996, right?
97.
So since 96 till now, 90 till now, that's a lot of ball players that came through the league.
You got a good package. You got a good group.
Yeah.
I got one on the top off rip.
Yeah, I do too. I'm really creating content for us. So like, there's some super obvious, and then there's some not so obvious. I'm gonna go though. I don't want to say an obvious person. I'm gonna say Melo makes the list though. I'm gonna say Melo makes the list.
Melo, I like that. CP3, that's a light.
Yeah,
that's a light.
He's not the usual. Like if we said King blank and K blank, those are obvious.
I'm talking about guys that that's what I first thought in my mind is like, who doesn't have a ring, but we're like, yo, he's that guy. You feel me? That's the first thing that comes off my head.
So we got Melo, Chris Paul.
Melo, Chris Paul. I mean, for me, I would put. I put Brandon Wall in there.
Who?
Brandon Wall.
Brandon Roy in the next 25.
That's what I said. Brandon Roy.
Okay.
Honorable mention. Maybe.
AI. You think AI makes it?
That's
no brainer. Of course.
That's a no-brainer.
You don't know, but I mean, we could say that because we're debating even
over Brandon Roy.
That's it.
Over Brandon Roy,
bro. Don't be disrespectful.
No, I like B-Roy.
With Brandon Roy, the thing, thanks, bro.
Nah, I like B-Roy, but I don't know about next 25. I don't know about that. He's a good player. So we got
Manu.
AI.
Ooh, that's a good one, Denny.
Manu Ginobili.
Nope. I don't think so.
Word?
I don't think so. Bro, if I could tell you 19, 20 names right now, you'd be like, damn, I don't got no chance.
No, again, that's that. Okay. All right.
Okay, you know what?
Hold that.
You mentioned him earlier. Does T-Mac have a spot?
I'm going to say yes. I'll say yes.
Of course. Anybody that Kobe talked about may have a spot. Yeah.
I mean, there are some obvious ones, the real obvious ones. There are some ones like, okay, they're there right now until I find somebody else. Like, all right, does a Chris Bosh, a Chris Webber make it?
That's a good question. That is a good question.
You said no. You said no. To who?
No. To Bosh.
You said no to Bosh.
Correct.
So why? Okay, why do you think Bosh won't make top 25?
I said yes to Webber. I said no to Bosh.
So Webber makes it and not Bosh.
When I see Webber, when I see Webber as a player, I say video game. That's usually what my level of vision, my level of when I say we're talking about 25 greatest, right? We're talking about the greatest.
Yeah.
If you're a greatest, great, you're a video game. I look at Chris Bosh and I say All-Star.
Yeah, a 10-time All-Star. A 10-time All-Star and a 2-time champion.
1,000%. With LeBron D-Wade. 1,000%. Now.
Because people are going to say, honestly, I think Paul Pierce.
He makes it.
I'm going to let you say, I'm going to let you pick this up, right? But I was going to say, before I let you go, you're talking about Sacramento team that should have won a chip if it wasn't for a gambling referee.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Then listen, come on, okay? You see what Webber was dealing with out in the West during the West.
I'm not going against you for Webber. You said no to Chris Bosh.
Yeah, no.
And I'm saying Chris Bosh is a multiple time All-Star than C-Web and a world champion than Webber.
I'm looking at his All-Star appearances from Toronto. Some of them are from Toronto. Is it Toronto, right? Some of his All-Star appearances.
Go ahead.
Well, he was the man, and he was taking his team. What? How many playoff series was he? You know what I mean? I'm looking at that. I'm like, cute. Then I'm looking at Webber. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at who he played with and how he played. And what coast he was in.
As of right now, I have both in until further notice. That I'm not saying one or the other. I have both in right now.
Mm-hmm. Dirk is another for me that I'm not sure.
Dirk is
that's not even a question.
He's automatic.
For
automatic.
That's not even a question for me.
Dirk is in.
No, but then you say if Dirk is in, remember you only get 25 spots. If Dirk is in, does that bump down T-Mac?
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
It
I'm
might.
doing a lot of.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing a lot of movement and subtraction once these names present themselves based on certain criteria. Number one, I said the video game. You got to be jumping off the screen. You got to be, you got to have some all-stars, maybe some MVPs, maybe some championships. But it's not necessary, though, because Melo.
But remember our argument from like the end of the summer when we were just talking about the point guards. Now apply that to this. If 10 spots are obvious, Kobe, LeBron, KD. You know what I'm saying? I can get you 10 people right now that are obvious. Then that only leaves 15 spots. And that's more difficult than you think.
Oh, I believe so. I believe it's very difficult. I am going to do the best, as we always do here on the show. We're going to do our best to eliminate some of the, if you will, fluff and get to the nitty gritty. So when you mention Bosh and Weber, and I'm hearing these names, I'm like, bing, bing.
So like Sam already said it, LeBron, Kobe, Durant, that's 3 automatics. If I want to give
Dirk.
Chris Paul is an automatic hit.
Who?
CP3.
Chris Paul, we said. And Carmelo.
Chris Paul.
There you go. So that's, we got 5. We're at 5 or 6 now.
So everybody on the banana boat.
Wait. You got D-Wade.
Everybody on the banana boat.
Right. You're missing You're missing more. You're missing Steph Curry.
Correct. Kawhi, we didn't say.
Steph
Curry. Wait. Hold up. You're missing Kevin Garnett. You're missing Tim Duncan.
Kevin Garnett.
That sound like 10 names right now.
But when
if you said 10 automatic, you're leaving 15 because then that hurts. I just name popped into my head. Ray Allen. That hurts. Guys like that, Weber, Ray Allen, you have to
not make it.
For them.
Who's not making it?
May not make it. No, I'm saying in terms of Ray Allen may not make it.
Paul Pierce, right? He may not. You don't know.
Pierce.
Paul
Pierce may not make it, and I think Paul Pierce will be on that list.
AI automatic.
Yes, that's what I feel. Automatic.
J Kidd.
Yeah,
right.
Shout out to Paul Pierce. Not for nothing, yo. I think
we might come up with another 50 right here. Just
Steve Nash.
Yo.
No.
Two-time MVP.
Oh, okay.
Two-time MVP.
Nah, he's saying 2-time. I'm trying to think. Yeah.
2-time MVP. Steve Nash.
So crazy with this. We could.
2-time. Yeah. Again, I feel it's you're looking at your home runs, your AIs, and Paul Pierce. He may not make it based on a lot of other factors and all his plays involved. I mean, how many power forwards can we put in? Yeah, you mentioned Tim. You mentioned.
And you know who's gonna make it? Giannis.
I had his name written down when I thought.
See, there you go.
I actually wrote Greek Freak.
You said he may not make it.
No, he will make it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he'll make it. No, he's in. He's in.
Who else?
Yeah, he's in.
Who else is like maybe Vince Carter? Is he a maybe?
Ooh,
no.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, then you don't have Vince Carter in the next 25.
No.
It's not a maybe.
No.
But you got T-Mac in, and not Vince Carter, who played like 23 years.
You want to do this? You really want to do this? You
no.
Really want to compare?
And you said
let's take.
And you said Ginobili. You said Ginobili 2 minutes ago, and I named you 25 people already.
Watch your mouth. Let's stay on topic. First and foremost.
Oh, Sam gotta go. All
right, we'll close out with this. Take Vince Carter's best year. Which year is his best year? Is it on Nets or is it on Toronto? Just take Vince Carter's best year. You think it's on the Nets, right?
I think it's Toronto.
Let's say it's Toronto.
Yeah.
You want to compare Vince Carter's best year in Toronto to T-Max in Orlando?
No, because
who's had more playoff success, Vince Carter or T-Mac?
That's based on teams I can go into that. That's a different conversation. T-Mac hasn't had some of the greatest teams ever. Let's not even go down that path. That's kind of like a setup. That's a set for failure. It really is. You feel me?
I'm talking about you're missing Russell Westbrook. You're missing Anthony Davis.
Correct.
You're missing a whole plethora of people.
We didn't say. I mean, is Derrick Rose a no?
No. I love D Rose, but no.
I love D Rose, but no.
It was a better offer than Brandon Roy.
Yo, Denny, you mentioned Ginobili, phenomenal player, All-Star, Hall of Famer. Then you mentioned Brandon Roy for the next 25.
All right, listen.
We should end the show right now.
So you can understand. Two reasons so you can understand. So you can keep stabbing. It's all good. 2 reasons. All right. You understand? All right. Manu Ginobili, number 1. Okay. Who was Euroing before Manu in terms of and talk about 6 men in terms of being the type of player that he could have been a starter anywhere else. Decided to stay in San Antonio. When you talk about 25 best players, when I see him, I see video game. Sorry. And Brandon Roy, that 1 or 2 years. Kobe, Tracy, Vince, some of these names couldn't do anything with Brandon. And when I say anything, they couldn't do anything. And that's when I say, no, I get it. And obviously, Rose has an MVP. Rose has an MVP like Allen Iverson has an MVP, obviously. And then Iverson took his team to the finals. Rose did not. So I get that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a great argument. It's a great debate. I'll be right though.
So
that's what you said about Ben Simmons and the Warriors.
Yeah. So we'll tackle that on the next retro room, the next 25 who we feel the NBA is going to pick. That should be fun. Hopefully they do an actual ceremony for these guys, probably All-Star Weekend like they did back in 1997. As always, I am Denny Blanco on both Instagram and Twitter at Coach_Swagner on Instagram and Twitter, at Randy J. Cruz, Rendy, the letter J, Cruz on both IG and Twitter. Find the podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, ballislife.com. Also, youtube.com/Cruise Control Podcast. Again, I thank y'all, and we out.
We out of here.
Yes, sir.